Well, hello everyone and welcome to my home plot, the kitchen garden. Now, today I'm going to be tidying up just outside this greenhouse. It's in a bit of a need of a good tidy up. But what I want to share with you today, I tend to do a lot of my gardening here at home before I go to work in the morning. So every morning when I've been doing something to do with the garden, I've been videoing a little bit, and I'm going to show that with you while I get on and tidy up outside. I'll come back to you once I finish tidying up. Now, the weather hasn't been brilliant this last week, but we started off on Bank Holiday Wednesday, the 1st of January, by simply giving the grass a good trim. This is actually one of those jobs that I quite enjoy. I'm one of those weird people that quite likes cutting the grass. The main reason I enjoy cutting it is that it obviously gives me compost material in the form of grass clippings. And for me, grass clippings are one of the most useful things that we tend to use in the garden. Here I'm filling them up in my hotbed in order to let them rot down with all the chicken waste and generate heat, which will help any of my young plants that I place underneath the cloche. Quite a simple method of encouraging plants and keeping some heat going to warm up our plants, and it certainly does work. Well, Thursday it was back to work, but before I went to work I decided it was time to sow some seeds. Now, January is a funny month for sowing seeds. There's not really many seeds that we can sow. I have heated propagators and grow lights, which certainly does help. Now, the seeds that I'm sowing were left over from the Veg Grower Podcast Supporters Club. It's how we fund and keep the podcast running. And each month I send out a collection of seeds. Now, these seeds that I'm sowing, first of all, we're sowing mint. Now, mint is just a very simple seed to grow, not usually grown from seed, normally taken from cuttings. And I decided to give it a go from seed this month. And we're just scattering the seeds on the surface. Then we've sown some onion seeds. Now, onion seeds are certainly a seed that we can sow in January. Even December is a traditional time to sow these onion seeds. These are obviously for our main crop onions, which will produce in around August time. And then we have sown some aubergine, a variety called Black Beauty, which again, a very popular variety of aubergines. I find that aubergines really do need a long growing season, so I like to start these December, January, much like some of the other seeds that we have sown as well. And what I will have to do with these aubergines is grow them against the south-facing wall, because they really do need that heat in order to produce a decent amount of fruit. Now, added to that, these seeds have gone into my heated propagators. They start off in my heated propagator that has no lights, but as soon as they germinate, they are moved up into another heated propagator where they will get light. They don't need light at that first stage when you first sow the seeds, but as soon as they germinate, that's when seeds need light. Now, Friday morning we woke up to a heavy frost, and it was still dark before I left for work. So again, I was in my kitchen and I decided to pot up my habanero chilies. These chilies were sown in December and have actually been growing quite well, but I noticed the last couple of days towards the last week they haven't really shown much growth. They've put on their true seed leaves but apart from that, they've been a little bit stagnant. So I figured if we give them a bit of a bigger space to grow in, a bit of a bigger pot, they may start to grow. As you can see, I've sown these in my germies, which are a fantastic tool for starting seeds. But I have to admit, when I opened them up and I had a look at the seed roots, I've got to say the roots were not what I was expecting. I was expecting bigger roots. But we potted them up anyway, and we will see just how well they survive. I think they're going to be okay. We've got a decent amount of habaneros that should do us well. And of course, we're going to have more chilies following in the future. Well, there is a light fading for today, making it almost impossible for me to see what I am doing. Also coming up to the end of this week. However, I have managed to tidy up the area just outside the greenhouse quite well. That area is quite an important area actually. I use it in the spring summer to harden off a lot of my plants, so it's a good little area, I've got to say. But trees were getting a little bit overgrown, so I've pruned those back. However, those two trees, there's an elder tree and another tree, we do need to get those trees removed in the next couple of months. They're too big for our garden, they shade out the light in the neighbours, and they're not, well, the elder tree is edible but the other one isn't, so we've just really got to get rid of those trees, but that's going to need some professionals in to do that for me. Added to that, we've just given the ground a little bit of a tidy up as well, sweep through, cleared away all that debris that has accumulated. Some good mulch, I have to say, some of the leaves that have rotted down, so nothing gets wasted is what I always say. But as I said, I'm going to call this a night for tonight and for the week. Hopefully you enjoyed this kitchen video. We're going to try and do a kitchen video each week and an allotment video each week, just to try and keep you guys updated with what is going on here at the Veg Grow Up podcast. But also let me know what you've been up to in your own kitchen garden, home plot, down in the comments down below as well. I always like to find out what everybody else is up to. Right guys, I'm going to head on the inside, get a nice hot cup of coffee and warm myself up. You take care, I'll speak to you again next time.